You guys like money? Of course you do. Do you like Pokemon? Well, that's just an even stupider question, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be watching this video. The reason I ask is because today I'm going to be going over the top 10, or my top 10, Sword and Shield like full arts or alternate arts that are $100. I decided to go over my top cards. You know, they're nice cards. You don't want to break the bank. And hopefully down the line they'll increase in value and you'll be like, hey, I got them for cheap. So everybody wins. So keep in mind, these are not in really any particular order. I just kind of went from the start of Sword and Shield up, and then whatever whatever I liked the most, whatever I thought maybe had the potential of getting more money down the line, I went with it. So the first card is Marnie from the Sword and Shield base set. So cards right now at $77 on TCG Player. Looking like eBay is saying it for like $65. So I get all my info from Pokedata. But I still think it's a pretty nice card. Out of that entire set, out of the gold, out of the full arts, is probably the best card that they have, which makes sense as to why it's $77. She's looking kind of badass. Like, she could probably beat me up. But also, I feel like Marnie's very popular. She's on milk cartons. She's on numerous cards. She's on playmats. She's everywhere. So I think with her, grabbing her for now, before Sword and Shield kind of dissolves into obscurity, I would definitely grab her for future profit. Next card on my list. Kind of no surprise that he would show up on this, because, you know, it's Charizard. Everyone loves Charizard. Is the Charizard Vmax from Shining Fates. This card has dropped a little bit. I remember when this was like over $100 at some point. I think when maybe a couple of years ago, when the pandemic boom of Pokemon happened. But right now it's sitting at $82, which is pretty good. I think I definitely, well, I pulled it, but I spent more than I should have trying to pull the card. So $82. If you get it graded, you know, graded PSA 10, it's looking like a $217 card. So that's a pretty good value if you can find a good one. I think mine's sitting on 9.5 from Beckett, which I always like to compare them. Like, that's a PSA 10 in my book, but people don't see it that way. But yeah, Charizard VMAX. Charizard's always good to have, so pick it up while you can. Number 3 on my list, I feel like maybe a little different than most people would choose, is the Rapid Strike Urshifu from Battle Styles. And I know Battle Styles is one of the least popular sets from Sword and Shield, but I still think that this artwork on this card is pretty awesome. I mean, it's just a very kind of cool pose. Like, he's kind of like towering over you, I guess, as the person. But I also just like the colors in this. Blue's like my favorite color, so when he's like freaking out and doing whatever he's doing, I just think it's a nice card to have. It has dropped a little bit. I think I picked it up for like maybe 75 like last year or so, but PSA 10's going for around $120. So if you get a good version, again, you can make more money just grabbing these cards. I know they're not cheap, but not cheap Mario. But still, you know, as time goes on, I can only see these cards going up in price. If you guys thought that the Rapid Strike Urshifu was weird, you'll probably think this one's a little weird too. But for me, the Rapidash alternate art from Chilling Reign is probably one of my favorite cards from that set, next to the Moltres. Again, it's kind of like blue, but it's just kind of like you look at it and it's almost like a dream, kind of looking at Rapidash a little bit. I think the purples and blues are really awesome in this. It's going for $44 right now. I feel like it has the potential to go up. I mean, Rapidash is from Gen 1. They did change the type. I think it's Galarian. Yeah, Galarian Rapidash. So it's a psychic type instead of fire. And they made it more like a unicorn, more like a fairy unicorn. But it doesn't matter. I still think that this card has the potential to increase some point someday. If not, it's still a beautiful card to have. Okay, from Evolving Skies is the Umbreon Vmax. I'm just kidding. There's no way in hell. Obviously, that card's way too much money. But just squeaking in from Evolving Skies is the Dragonite V. So this, I believe, when it first came out was around 90. It's creeped up a little bit. It's around $98, so it's just under the $100 limit. But again, another Gen 1 Pokemon, and also from Evolving Skies. You can't go wrong with Evolving Skies. These cards, just the whole thing is just a great set, probably the best set out of Sword and Shield. I think we all know that. But you know, the fact that Dragonite's just kind of laying there, he's chilling in the clouds, he's got Sphero and Spearow flying underneath him, all Gen 1 Pokemons. Again, I don't think you can go wrong with Gen 1 Pokemons, but that's just my opinion because that's where I started. So yeah, Dragonite V from Evolving Skies, go for it. And also, if you guys are still watching, thanks for watching, thanks for getting this far. But also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that like button. It helps me a lot immensely, and that way I can do this more for you guys if you guys enjoy the content, and we can all have a great time together. Party! Alright, so coming in at number 6 is the Mew V, not the Vmax, but the Mew V alternate art from Fusion Strike. I'm not a huge fan of the Vmax. I think it's a mess. I mean, the V isn't that much better, but it's a little clearer. To me, the Mew Vmax looks like a regular, it could be like in the regular like set of Fusion Strike before you hit the alternate arts and stuff. But the Mew V, I mean, you got Smeargle in it, you got Toxtricity. It's again a little messy, but at $35, it's not a bad card to own. And I think, you know, if you were to get it graded and it came out great, a PSA 10 is around $130, so you'll be getting a $100 gain on that card if you were to pull a nice one and or just buy one. Make sure it's all good, but I think, you know, obviously you have Gengar and Espeon, they're over $100. They're nice cards, but I think my next favorite one is the Mew V. Next up from Brilliant Stars is the Arceus V alternate art. We all know Arceus is a god. He's the god Pokemon, and this card kind of feel like shows that off, right? He's in the sky, he's shining from above, the heavens open up, and there he is saying, "Catch all the Pokemon for me, you little peasant." Almost went off there. But it's a pretty cool card. I have this in the 9.5. The card's about $31 raw. I'm thinking PSA 9's around $90, I believe. Yep, it's $91. So if you guys are a huge fan of Arceus, grab them. The next card comes from Lost Origin, and it's not Aerodactyl, even though it's very close. Aerodactyl is like $104 rare, raw. But the card I choose is the Pikachu VMAX from the, was it Trainer Gallery, I think is what it's called. So you got red on it, you got Pikachu. Obviously, red and Pikachu going together are a pretty great combo. I mean, just look at the secret rare from Cosmic Eclipse. Those two just kind of chilling out on the library or whatever you want to call it. But I think just because it has Chonkachu and it's kind of like a badass pose with the red, just ready to battle you. He's like, let's do it, I'm Ash Ketchum. But not really. Cards coming in at $35. So not a bad pickup, I think, and probably the strongest card from the Trainer Gallery. Coming in at number 9 is the Starmie V from the Trainer Gallery from Astral Radiance. The card is $36 and it features Starmie, which you would think, but it also has Misty, and anyone who grew up watching Pokemon like I did, obviously Misty was part of the original crew. So anybody who's part of the original crew, you can't go wrong. It's just kind of like a cool card though. They're just kind of chilling, laid back in the pool. But I almost went with Palkia V, but Palkia was kind of just, it's a little obscure in that picture, so I didn't really go with it. So that's why I went with Starmie on this one. All right, and for my last card, comes from Crown Zenith, which you guys know how I feel about Crown Zenith. Is the Mewtwo Vstar card. Now, this card's coming in at $52, which is pretty decently priced. So I have both the English version and the Japanese version, but I just think it's cool because Obviously, this is the second half of the battle between Mewtwo and Charizard. Charizard, you got it in the UPC that came out, but for $52, I think it goes great, especially for all you Gen 1 fans out there. PSA 10, about $152, so another card with a $100 gain, which is great. So grab it while you can. Alright, that's going to be it for me. That's my top 10 alternate arts from Sword and Shield era. Let me know down below if you guys agree with me, or what your favorite cards are from the set. But also be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.